And we're live.
All right. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm sure it's going to take a few minutes for everybody to get logged on, so I'm not going to get in a big hurry.
So I can monitor comments.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's see. No. You just take over. Okay. She's more internet savvy than me. All right. We will be getting started here in just a few minutes, so settle in, grab a beverage, hold your babies, and we'll be right with you. She's so awesome with potty training. It's doing good?
Yeah, she's like telling me when she has to go, and if she's not wearing panties, she can pull her pants up and down now.
Nice.
And sometimes she'll empty the potty on her own, and
Very good.
occasionally it
Yeah.
gets everywhere, but
And
whatever.
I tried to start Wesley on one of those seats that you just put on the toilet. He was terrified
Really?
of that. I have no idea why. Yeah, but then I got him a little potty. I caved and got him a little potty, and he did better with that. But yeah, it was a lot more work because he always wanted to poop in that one. I'm like, no, poop on this.
That's the worst.
It is what it is.
Well, currently I'm the only one watching.
Okay.
Oh, no, we have another watcher.
Is it Brianna?
Randy Lee. Hello, Randy.
Hello. Good to see you. Ish. She buys elderberry syrup from me.
Oh,
How's it going out there? I feel so awkward looking at it's so tiny.
We now have 3.
3? Yay. Welcome everyone. We'll probably give it another minute or two, see if we have any other watchers joining us. Who else we got on there?
Trying to figure out how to see that.
Maggie says hello.
Randy Lee says, doing good, love the mom tasking.
Yeah, right. You gotta make it work. You will be hearing screams. That's what it is today. It's fine. Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started then. I have a visual set up, but you can't really see it. That's okay. I'll just go ahead and start by telling you guys my story. So I started making bone broth, I guess it's probably been about 5 years ago. I started when I started my natural health journey. I was really sick with what ended up being a very simple problem, but it took a lot of study and a lot of trial and error to figure it out. I started just trying to learn how to work with herbs, and then the more I kept reading about herbs, the more I kept seeing that nutrition overall was what I needed to be concentrating on. At the time, I was doing really high sugar, lots of convenience foods, and then, like I had an Oreo habit, and it just doesn't make for a healthy body. And what I was seeing was that I had a nutrient deficiency, mostly with minerals, which is where the bone broth comes in. And basically what was happening was I was having a lot of dizzy spells, heart palpitations, things of that nature that I was trying to overcome. And I was having a really hard time exercising, so it was like, okay, well, I can hit it with nutrition, but if that's not enough, then, I'm still going to be fat for a while. Yeah, the babies are playing in the background, so I apologize if you guys can't hear me. I will say, at any point, if you have any questions, please do type them in, send them in, give us your comments. Those will help me kind of guide the discussion here. How we doing, Amanda? Excellent. Okay, so for those of you who want the, what should I call this? The goods, the paper. The handout, thank you. For those of you who want the handout, just after this is over, just shoot us your email in a message, and I'll make sure that you guys get a copy. This will have all the nutrition information that we're going to be going over today, the step-by-step how to make your own. I've got a beef and a chicken. And then also on the back, there's recipes for my favorite chicken soup, as well as my favorite way to make collard greens using bone broth. So we'll just jump right in. So what I thought was really cool when I started doing my study about nutrition, I started just studying food. How do people eat, and what's the history of how people eat? So the very first written recipes date back to 1600 BC. They were written on 3 cuneiform tablets, which basically that was like the first version of paper, is clay tablet. So, and this would have taken a really long time. They were very large, but there were 25 recipes, and they were all for broth. Every single one of them. 21 of them were for a meat broth, and then the other 4 were for vegetable broths. And basically, the recipes were very simple. You boil it all together. There might have been a little bit more of a step to that, but it's basically either taking meat, taking bones, taking a combination thereof, and combining them with heat in water for a long period of time. And that's really all that bone broth is. It's just bones that have been boiled for an extended period of time. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do stylistically to change the outcome, to make it more savory, to give a greater depth of flavor, to make it more aromatic. But those things, they're all stylistic, and they're not always necessary. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. Sorry, Maggie's getting a little bit restless back there. All right, so before we get into all that, though, we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition. So bone broth does contain the 7 macro minerals that are necessary for human health. So that's going to be your calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, sulfur, and then a very wide variety of trace minerals as well. So calcium, necessary for heart and nervous system function, as well as muscle growth and contraction. And then, of course, we all know calcium is necessary for strong bones. But calcium is necessary for strong bones in combination with all of the other macro minerals. They are all essential. If you don't have all of them, you're not going to have strong bones, which that's a big problem with osteoporosis. You know, they always say take a calcium supplement, but there's so much more to it than just taking a calcium supplement. You really have to have all of them in there together. So that's where bone broth is a really good option. Magnesium is essential for enzyme activity, for regulating the uptake of calcium and potassium, nerve transmission, bone formation, metabolism of carbohydrates and minerals. Magnesium, not calcium, mind you, keeps tooth enamel hard and resistant to decay. And along with calcium, it helps regulate the acid-alkaline balance in the body. So I know that's been a really big thing lately in the natural health community, is everybody's trying to get their body more alkaline. If you have a good balance of the appropriate minerals in your body will regulate itself. There's nothing else that you need to do in your diet. So just keep that in mind. Phosphorus is required for bone growth, kidney function, and cell growth. In order to be utilized by the body, it must be balanced with calcium and magnesium. So you're going to see over and over, these minerals work synergistically. They work all together. All right, potassium works synergistically with sodium to maintain fluid balance in between cells. Potassium is very important for many chemical reactions that occur within individual cells. And then sodium, essential to life. It is needed for proper hydration. Basically, a body cannot hold water without salt. It is necessary for muscle contraction and expansion, nerve stimulation, also the acid-alkaline balance. And it's very important for proper function of the adrenal glands. This was actually a really big one for me. I was also adrenal fatigued. And so until I started using good quality salt, I've got pink Himalayan right here, I didn't really begin to see a true leap in my health. I didn't really start to get anywhere until I started utilizing a mineral salt. Sulfur makes the part of the chemical structure of several different amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. It aids in biochemical processes, helps the body to fight infections, blocks harmful effects of radiation and pollution, and it also slows the aging process. It's a major component of the gel-like connective tissue and cartilage and skin. All right, so that's all of the minerals. We're also going to talk a little bit about collagen and gelatin. I'll keep it quick on these. They do a lot, but basically they're responsible for keeping ligaments lubricated, your gut lining intact, your skin firm and elastic, your joints lubricated, your blood vessels, hollow organs, and even your corneas, which that's your eyes, for keeping those strong as well.
Brianna.
So you got a question? Nope. All right. Hi, Brianna. All right.
Ask them if they can hear you okay.
Are you guys hearing me okay? Is there too much background interference? I've got kind of a big room. It's echoey. We all good?
It'll take a minute for them. There's a delay.
Yeah. Oh wow, there is. I can see all the waving that I'm doing, like way after the fact.
It is very distracting to watch yourself do a Facebook Live.
Yeah, no doubt. All good, everybody?
Yes, they can.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so then we're going to talk about the amino acids that are found in bone broth as well. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. There are far more, but these are some of the big ones, and this is what they do. So glycine helps produce muscle tissue and assists in the conversion of glucose, which is sugar, into energy. It also assists in regulating blood sugar levels, energy levels, DNA and RNA, and the production of bile in the stomach, which is necessary for digesting fats, which we all need. And it's also useful in the detoxification process. Glutamine stimulates immune cells and is crucial in cell proliferation in muscles. This is useful in the healing of everything from cuts to burns, trauma, and stress, even the villi of the small intestine. So for those who have any gut damage, this is often seen for those who had food intolerances that they weren't aware of. So like not necessarily celiac, but gluten intolerance, and celiac actually, because a lot of times they have more damage than what they realize. And then also your people with dairy intolerance, bone broth is very good for healing the gut lining, so that you can actually process your foods again. Proline is an amino acid that is fundamental in collagen and cartilage production. When diets are low in this amino acid, joint stability and skin firmness is compromised. There's also alanine, which supports liver function, glucose production, and the citric acid cycle. Extra doses of this amino acid create the potential for greater muscle mass and increased endurance. Okay, so basically, drink bone broth if you want to have a healthy body in every way, shape, and form. It's going to do wonders for you. That I can promise. I will take a brief second to mention a few of the books that I would suggest if you want to learn more about the nutrition side of bone broth, nutrition in general. I would suggest Real Food for Pregnancy is a really good one. She does talk about bone broth in there. Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston Price. It's kind of a tome, so it's for those who are super interested in like case studies. That would be me, not necessarily all of you. Let's see, Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon is an excellent resource. It goes into traditional food preparation methods overall. So bone broth is going to be in there, but also proper preparation of grains to break down phytic acid, which if you guys have any questions about that, I'll be happy to go over. And then if you're also interested in like food history, the Food History Reader is an excellent one. Okay. So this is the part where I'm going to go ahead and kind of take you through the different things that you're going to need to make bone broth. So first off, if you're going to be deboning any meat, you'll want a sharp knife. This is actually a boning knife. Let's see, let me try to make it so you can see the shape. It's got a little bit of a long blade, but it's kind of skinny. So this is really good for whipping around your meat. So you just get a little bit better of a grip. It's pretty flexible, you can see right there. So it's easier to get in around the bones. Let's see. You will need lots of water if you're going to be making bone broth, especially if you're doing it on the stove top. It just boils off so quickly, you'll have to replace at least probably once an hour. If you're doing it in a crock pot, which is my favorite method, you'll just need a couple of gallons. And as far as water goes, you want to use the best quality water that you have access to. Distilled is probably the best as far as bottled water goes. However, it doesn't have a mineral content of its own. So if you're wanting to really get rich minerals, spring water is going to be good. You just do have to keep in mind there is a potential for microorganisms in it, which could potentially shorten your shelf life. All right, so that's water. Apple cider vinegar, this is really good for helping to get the minerals to leach out of the bones and into the water. You take her. So getting the minerals to leach out of the bones and into the water. Basically, we use this in about the first 45 minutes of making the bone broth. You're just going to pour it in with your bones and cold water and allow it to sit. And then you just turn it all on and get going after that. So it's just a really short window of time, but it does help a lot with that. So then obviously you need your bones. A few pounds usually. I like to do 2 chickens at a time. Today I'll just be showing you with one. This is actually a chicken that had a beautiful happy life on my Grammy's farm. So it got to peck around with the bugs and enjoy the sunshine. With beef, we get cows by the quarter usually, about once or twice a year. And so I'll just be using some soup bones from the last cow that we got. I like to use 2 packages worth, so it usually ends up being around 5 pounds of bones for beef. But the beef broth that I make is also like super dense, so you definitely could get away with just like 2 to 3 pounds. I save bones constantly. So this was from some chicken wings that we made not too long ago. Those will be going in the broth today. I don't remember what this was, but I'm pretty sure it's chicken. If it's not chicken, it's still okay. They're bones and cartilage, and they're gonna make broth delicious. And then right here, I think that's actually pork. Nope, that's beef. Okay, those aren't going in. Pork and chicken go nicely together. We'll also be using some chicken feet. I know that freaks some people out. They're the coolest thing. So chicken feet are really high in collagen, and so those will be going in the broth today to give us some extra skin goodies. That's what I like to call it. Okay, so that's the bones. Let's see, your cooking vessel. So you can do it one of 2 ways. I have a stock pot going over here, and then I have my crock pot going right here. I usually like to stove top my chicken. I just like the quality that comes out of it. I get to be a little bit more watchful. I've just ruined a couple batches of chicken doing it in a crock pot. So that's me. But you always do what works best for you and your family. Beef, I love to do in the crock pot. It can go for years, it seems like, and it's okay. We have some silly babies over here. And then you'll also want a couple different metal spoons. One of my spoons obviously is not metal, it's just what I have. Use what you have. Metal is best. These are good for removing fatty debris and anything else that might rise to the surface that's kind of chunky. Some things you just want to go ahead and remove. And then you want your metal one for doing any skimming. We don't want to keep fat on the surface because it will go rancid. It makes your house stink. So that's not ideal. And then also, especially early on, when you're first making your broth, any fat that you skim, like within the first hour, you can actually save and use it for cooking fat. Most of us are probably just like butter and oil, but chicken fat makes really good chicken soup. If you ever do duck fat makes the best potatoes. Not joking at all.
Apparently you can get
All
really
right,
good
and then
duck
you're
fat
also
in
going to need,
Colorado.
do what?
Apparently you can get really good duck fat in Colorado.
You can actually get really good duck fat at H-E-B in Texas. That's where I always get mine. I buy a whole bunch, and you know what sucks is I left the last set that I bought at Marshall's grandma's house, so that just really sucks for me. I'm going to have to go back and get it or have her mail it. But that's neither here nor there. Straining tools. I do have a large mesh strainer here. It's a fine mesh, just in a big size. You want something big enough that the bones aren't going to fall out of it while you're straining. And then I like to keep some version of a cloth. I have unbleached cheesecloth here. I get this on Amazon, but you can get the bleached stuff at Schnucks pretty cheap. You'll see it's a pretty light weave, so you have to double it up pretty good. But this is if you don't want to ruin any of your towels. This is a good option. Do you want to show? That's the weave on it there. And that's unbleached. That would be my suggestion. Then you know that there's no weird chemicals leaching into your broth after you've spent all the lovely time making it. But again, if you don't want to spend that kind of money for something you're just going to throw in the garbage, what I do is keep, this is actually a baby diaper. It's a flat cloth diaper. I keep a few of these for kitchen use only, and this is my broth cloth. It's really good for making sure you don't have anything go through this, just the liquid. So it's going to catch everything, fat, whatever you've got. It's not going to go through there. You're not going to have mineral sediment that makes it through, which you'll find sometimes using the cheesecloth. And if any of you need any of these and don't want to buy a full 6-pack, I do keep them on hand in a large quantity because I use them for my business as well, and I can definitely hook you up with a broth cloth. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the tools that you're going to need. I've got a pot of water boiling over here. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna start chicken broth, and then I'm also gonna show you how to remove meat from beef bones. And then we'll finish out our beef broth that I have going over here in the crock pot so you can see what that looks like. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So just stay tuned. I'm going to get some things ready. If you have any questions, write them in. Amanda will help me answer them for you. That's Amanda waving like a goofball.
No, this would be goofball. She's over there.
Okay. Oh, shit. Sorry about that.
Bone broth in here.
Oh, you need no paper towels or anything?
We might.
Well, see, if you do, I'll get you another roll.
That'd probably be good just in case. And then we won't need it. And then we won't need it if we have it. If we don't have it, then we'll need it.
That's all right.
There's more pens up here. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Okay, so like I was telling you guys earlier, this is a bird that had a good happy life at my Grammy's. She was a hen for laying that had completed her laying cycle. We hate to waste. These birds are still good for broth, especially considering the life that she had out there. She's an excellent choice. She is pretty fatty, as you can see the yellow there. So that's going to be coming off as we're boiling. I decided not to debone her because there's not really that much meat, which you'll see with the yard bird. So we're just going to cut her up into slightly smaller pieces and get her thrown in the pot. Okay. And when you're using chicken, especially whole bits of chicken like this and not just clean bones, you want to make sure that the joints have been exposed. So that's what I'm doing right here. Especially like the thigh joints. Those have the most gelatin in them, which is going to make your broth have a better mouthfeel. And also it's higher in those gut healing properties. And for anybody with a weak stomach, I apologize. If you're doing this for real, it's kind of raw sometimes.
Especially before you cook it.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, so I'm gonna bring these up and show you. So I've got a leg bone. We've got the tendons right here that you want to see. You want to be able to see these bones here, and then you're also going to see quite a bit of cartilage here. That's the stuff that's going to break down really nicely to give you a good broth.
For a minute we didn't have it. You had to go back to the other room. I finally found a couple boxes back there.
Thank you very much. All right, so that's the thigh and the leg there. And then this bird also has a neck on it, which is amazing. So there's lots of little tiny bones in there. Those are really good for broth. And you don't normally get that on a store-bought chicken, so that's really nice. We'll also be using these the wing bits here. All of this is going in. These have quite a bit of that cartilage too. And don't be shy when you're boning a chicken. You're gonna have to break it. So just go for it. Yeah. There we go. Those joints they're pretty sturdy. But we want all those pieces out. And that's another reason that you really want to have a good sharp knife to help reduce your risk of getting hurt, because it'll actually, the force that you're putting behind it is doing something. Just makes your job easier overall. See, that one came right off. You might be wondering why there's so much fat on this chicken. A lot of times when birds reach the end of their lives, they just do a little less. So she was probably getting into the chicken feed a little bit more than some of the other birds would have been. All right, we're just working away over here. Any questions? Go ahead and send them in. Oh, also, do not look to me for proper knife skills. I technically took those classes and they did not stick. Oop. See? We're getting very close on this bird, y'all. Very close. So once I get everything in the pot, we're going to give it just a few minutes. I've already got the water boiling just to save us some time. I want to be able to show you what the impurities look like that we're going to be skimming off, because it just helps to have a visual before you start. We should have all learned this from our mothers and our grandmothers, but unfortunately that's just not the way that it goes anymore.
Nope, you have a pen. You have a pen.
All right.
They can't draw on their tongues. We try to do a lot of
Alright, right now I'm just getting the breasts off, and what'll be left, I'm just going to leave the breastbone, or the backbone, sorry, and the neck all in one long line, just for the sake of ease. And my knife is starting to get a little dull on me. We're almost there. So close. Okay. All right. So then, I know it looks really gross from the inside, but that's just what it is. It's not a commercially prepared chicken. We definitely did this outside in the beauty of the day. So that's the backbone. There's your neck, and then we got all of our pieces right here. We're gonna just go straight into the pot with all of these pieces. Okay, so everything that I just cut up is in the pot. I'm gonna go ahead and add into all the extra bones that I've been saving up. Don't feel like if it's got some seasoning or something on it that you can't add it. It's gonna add richness to the broth no matter what. It just might give it an extra kick, you know what I mean? And that's fine too. Okay, these are the feet. I'm gonna show you guys what they look like. You actually can buy these at Walmart. So this is a chicken foot. You're gonna see it's definitely got the claws and everything on it still. This has been scrubbed up pretty good. These are from a farm actually just north of Cape. So if you guys are interested in locating places to purchase good quality chicken feet and not the stuff from Walmart, I can get you that information. I've got 4 of those, no 3, and we're just gonna throw them all in. You can use as many as you want. The more the merrier. reason they can't all get married in the pot. All right, I've got some knuckly pieces, which are really high in collagen, and it's gonna be good. All right, so that's going now. It's gonna take a little bit for everything to come back up to temperature and start boiling again. Once it does that, I'll be able to show you what the skimming process looks like, and hopefully then we'll be able to show you what the fat coming off of it looks like too. I'm gonna take a short break, go clean up some chicken mess. So just stay tuned, guys, and we'll be right back with you.
Yeah, just go through there. Oh.